Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Happy Sunday and welcome to Fem Tarot. I'm Natalie, your international psychic medium and energy reader and healer. And I hope everyone is having a fantastic Sunday and had an even better weekend. How are my favorite people in the whole wide world? Whole wide world is you guys. This community, the Fem Village, the Fem Villagers convene today on this beautiful Sunday morning, afternoon, evening, depending where you're watching from. And as you come in, as you enter the chat or enter the room, don't forget to like this video. How is everybody doing? But here is, hold on, everybody. There you go. Just a little refresher on what to do, That's all I ask. All right. How is everybody? Happy Sunday to Tracy, to Anna, to Karen, to Issa. Tell you, all my favorite people. Brenna, hello to you too. And Allison. Ooh, skipped Allison by mistake. It's been a crazy month and a week. It's been a crazy summer. It's been a crazy year. Oh my God. Oh Lord. Yes, but you guys, good news. I've got some good news for you. And just a reminder, hello to you, Brandon. Happy Sunday, Pink Diamond, and everyone. It's been exhausting, but I have some good news. Hold on. Let me just pull this little curtain away from my eyes because I can't see anything. Well, the good news is that we're almost done with Mercury being retrograde because Mercury was PMSing big time this time. And I know I'm not the only one who says this. Everyone I've been talking to, everyone's been saying, what's been going on? And of course, we had Mercury retrograde. We had Saturn retrograde. We have Uranus and Gemini. Very crazy energies right now. Pluto is still in Aquarius and will be in Aquarius for the next 18 years. So expect the unexpected with all these energies. So yeah, I can't wait for Mercury to station and go back direct because it's a lot. But Mercury starts moving forward tomorrow on the 11th, but I want to remind everyone that you have to factor in that there's always the shadow period, 4 days, about 3-4 days before Mercury goes officially retrograde and after. So we're not out of the woods until the 15th. So hang in there, don't make any big purchases. Don't text your ex. Don't make any travel plans during this time. So if you want to travel after Mercury goes direct, book your tickets and do all the planning after that. If you're purchasing a car, do it after the 15th. If you want to do work around the house, do it after the 15th. If you want to send a very important document or you want to send a letter or an email or something like that, do it after the 15th if you can. I do realize also something else. Just a piece of advice in general. If you're going to have elective surgery or cosmetic surgery, make sure that you don't have it during retrograde season. Okay. Just whip out or go online and check when it's Mercury retrograde. Elective, even dental work as well. If it is elective dental work, just push it for after this time. Just letting you know because and especially this one's being crazy. And you've been seeing it, and I've been saying this as well with air flights, with airplanes, traveling by plane in general. I've said this summer it's going to be a lot. There's a lot that is going to happen and has happened. Accidents, delays, hacking the systems, losing your luggage. There's just so much going on when it comes to air travel. So, but this will continue on energetically until the end of the month, pretty much. It's not just because of Mercury being retrograde. So yeah. All right. Just wanted to let you know, 4 more days. Well, 5 more days, and then we can kind of like exhale and breathe a little bit. Oh, Norma, are you okay? I couldn't wait until, yeah, but that's fine because that's not cosmetic. That's not really elective. That is something medical. So that's absolutely fine. It's not going to affect you in any way, or the results are not going to come out weird or anything like that. So, but prayers to you, Norma, and sending you light for great results after the biopsy. This retrograde was retrograding. It's so taxing. I know. It's been bad. And it's been bad, especially for the fixed signs. It's we've been feeling it quite a bit. All right. So, and also we had a full moon yesterday. I forgot to post about it. Sorry, I'm in my sort of summer mode, if you will. I'm a little bit too relaxed. We're off on holiday next week, so we're not going to have our Sunday live next week or the Sunday following that because we're away. We're off to the Greek islands. Can't wait to catch some sun, go swimming, just eat good food, just relax and be, just enjoy my time with my children. So I'm just giving you a heads up, but I will put out probably 1 or 2 videos next week, so you'll still have some content while I'm gone. All right. Yeah, Norma says, yeah, Norma is a Leo. She's a fixed sign. So yes, it's a fixed sign. This retrograde it's been very challenging for everybody, but especially fixed signs have been feeling it. And we had a full moon yesterday. The beautiful August full moon is always the brightest, the most strongest, and the most potent of them all. So yeah, that's going to give us a little bit of a boost. All right, so today, hold on. For some reason, my mouse is not working. Oh, there you go. It's Mercury retrograde. It gets worse during shadow period, I'm telling you. The amount of issues and tech issues I've had, it's awful. It's absolutely awful. All right, so today we're going to do something different. We're going to talk about something different. And also because I was a little bit sort of triggered by something that I saw on social media. So we all know, or we've all heard, or if you haven't heard, we have here Matt Rife, who's a comedian and very controversial because in the past, he's been very, let's say, a bit chauvinistic and anti-women. I haven't been following his career, so I don't know if, he's gotten better or what, because I believe he got canceled, nearly canceled at some point. Anyways, that's irrelevant for the story because the story here is that Matt Rife purchased the Annabelle doll. All right. The Annabelle doll, in case you don't know, movies have been made about the Annabelle doll, stories have been told, documentaries have been made and produced on the Annabelle doll. It's supposed to be one of the most haunted dolls in the world, and it belonged in the private collection of Ed and Lorraine Warren. And if you don't know who Ed and Lorraine Warren are, or Warren, not Lauren, sorry, Warren are, they're demonologists, very, very famous for working on cases or hauntings, if you will, like the Amityville Horror and so many others as well. I will also give you my opinion when it comes to the Warrens as well, and I will give you my opinion when it comes to the Annabelle doll, and then I'm going to answer your questions. And also, I just want to start off by saying Matt Rife is not in danger because of a haunted doll. Okay? He's more in danger with the stuff that comes out of his mouth. He's in danger of getting canceled again if he continues on his BS. I'm just saying, but he's not in danger because of the Annabelle doll. Obviously, this has stirred up quite the commotion online with the news that he So basically, he purchased the Warren house, which is used as a museum, and the Annabelle doll. But the museum, the Warren house, has all these objects that they've collected throughout the years and throughout their careers as demonologists. But he doesn't own the objects, right? He doesn't own what's inside the house. He owns the house, and I believe the Annabelle doll. Although I have a hard time believing that the daughter of the Warrens, I forget her name right now, apologies, that she would sell it. Maybe the doll's on lease, and for marketing promotional reasons, they are just saying, that the doll's being purchased by Matt Rife. Now, it stirred up a lot of commotion because if you remember, about a month or a month and a half ago, there was a paranormal investigator. Again, apologies. I don't remember his name. I should have checked. I didn't. So apologies. Anyone in the chat who wants to drop it in the chat. Paranormal investigator who was touring the US with the Annabelle doll suddenly passed from a heart attack. I assume it's a heart attack. I haven't, checked up on that. And people were like, there you go. Annabelle doll is so haunted. And anyone who touches the doll or has the doll or owns the doll is cursed and will die. Well, let's say, again, these are all my opinions. All right. And it's not just my opinions. It's the fact that I am a psychic medium and I work with spirit and I work with ghosts and I work with people and deceased loved ones. And I've seen it all. Okay. I've seen it all. So I'm just going to tell you what I see, what I think. Also, to finish what I was saying before, I was triggered, which is why I'm doing this video, because I saw on social media certain very famous psychic mediums, very famous, all right, just spreading misinformation about the Annabelle doll. I'm not saying they're doing it on purpose. I just want to make that clear. It's not that they're misinforming people because they want to scaremonger people, or they doing this on purpose because of clout. They don't need clout. They have clout. I'm just saying that it has to do with their own belief system. It could be their own religious beliefs as well. It's just, or the way that they work, or it's what they were taught as well in the past while they were doing psychic or mediumship development, or when they were younger. So of course their belief is, everyone's beliefs, let's just say, even in the spiritual community, are different because we're all raised differently. We have different beliefs, we have different experiences. So I completely, absolutely respect that, because I know that what these mediums came out and said are not because they want to create some kind of to sensationalize the Annabelle doll and the Warrens museum now being under Matt Rife's ownership or management, I would say. Okay. But it triggered me because this created even more of a fear among people, and people truly believing that a doll, a toy essentially, okay, it used to be someone's toy, is haunted. And not just haunted, cursed. Not just cursed, but it can harm people. So let's talk about it a little bit, and then I'll get to your questions, and then we'll do a reading on this. All right, so hold on. Gigi, I just mentioned this on my members live. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but I apologize to my members as well. Will start putting ads on my lives, because you guys, the amount of money that I get or we get from YouTube it's peanuts. It's ridiculous. and life gets even more expensive, and my expenses, because everything that I make from YouTube goes back to YouTube for StreamYard, for my tech, for everything. So I'm just asking for everyone to be understanding. I don't ask for super chats. I don't ask for things from you guys. Okay. I even have a merch shop. I don't even plug. Everything is down below. But unfortunately, the ads may be necessary. It's a trial period. It's a trial period the ads. I kind of understand what you're saying. It was a tarot card reader who was blowing up about the Annabelle doll. I felt like she got personal with Ed and Lorraine, calling them out and disrespecting. That's not who I saw. I'm not talking about a tarot reader, and I don't know who that tarot reader is. I'm talking about someone else, but I'm not going to mention them. There's no point, because this is not about, making them look bad for their beliefs, because I respect their beliefs. They believe that this doll is haunted. I don't believe that objects can be haunted. I've been doing this for a very, very long time. Even with Psychic Jamie, when we do our true crime series, all right, we talked about, I think 2 or 3 videos ago, I don't remember for which one, but anyways, she was for many years a paranormal investigator. Okay. And we talked about, this was in when we did the Amityville horror reading. Okay. And we talked about this, and we said, we both, in our experience, and her, especially her as a paranormal investigator in the past, there are no haunted objects. Objects are not going to come to life or be haunted by demons or like negative entities that want to harm human beings. But let me explain. So, objects can hold energy 100%, whether it is crystals even hold energy. Okay. I don't know. I don't have anything here which is more, I don't know. I'm looking for, I don't know, a lip gloss. Even this holds energy because I use it every day, right? So I hold it, I have it in my hand, I use it. I set an intention. My intention with this lip gloss, actually it's a lip oil. My intention with that is I'm going to put it on my lips to hydrate my lips and make my lips look a little bit more plump, right? So this absorbs energy. Everything that we touch and we hold holds energy. Now, especially objects that are heirlooms, let's say, or have been passed on from generation to generation, or antiques, okay, they hold a lot of energy. That is a energy imprint from the past or from a past owner. 100% they do. Which is why there's a thing called psychometry, and there are psychics out there, and me too. I don't really use it, but I can connect to objects. It happens when I have one-on-one or face-to-face readings. People will bring things to me like rings, they will bring pictures, they'll bring scarves, anything, right? Anything that they have belong to someone, and they had a sentimental attachment to this object. Okay. So psychometry, what you do is, it's also called token object reading. What you do is you hold something in your hand, or you put something in your hand, and while you're touching it, while you're holding it, you are flooded by visions, feelings, colors, events, and you're connecting to the energy of this object. Again, we're going to use this lip oil today as an example. Okay. I'm seeing Allison's question. I'll get to your questions. In 1 minute, just to, I'll get to everything. Okay. So there is the idea that yes, objects, pieces of clothing can hold and store energy. All right. And a psychic, pretty much when they hold something, they can play back, in a sense, that energy. But haunted object is mostly based on ancient cultures, on different cultures, and on religion. For instance, look at the ancient Egyptians. ancient Egyptians, especially the pharaohs, the queens and the kings of ancient Egypt, they would be buried in the pyramids, or they would be buried with their own personal items and even their pets. Okay, why? Because they believed that that energy will follow, that the energy of these objects, or we're not going to talk about the animals, because they believe that the animals are going to escort or accompany the deceased into the spirit world. But with the objects, the reason why they did that is because there is a significance, there is an attachment, there's an energy attachment. The deceased had an energy attachment, an attachment to objects, so they buried them with that. So if you look in like the ancient Mayans as well, so objects, yes, even in ancient cultures and in history, it is believed that objects can carry not only energy, but there is this belief that this energy can actually manifest to become, instead of it being residual energy, it becomes more, uh, how can I say, like more sentient, if that makes sense. Um, but this fear mongering and the mongering about haunted objects, and I keep using air quotes because I don't like calling them haunted objects. They are objects that have withheld or they store energy, but they are not necessarily haunted, because, and haunted objects are based on fear because of religious teachings, pretty much, because it was these teaching was scaremongering people because they wanted them to stay away from the occult and or idols and idolizing objects. The ancient Greeks had this thing where they were idolizing objects. Okay. And even now, a little bit, like with the Greek Orthodox Church, for instance, when people enter the church, what do? They do their they do their thing. Forgot what it's called. See, I was raised Catholic, but I've just pushed it away, so far away. And then what they do is they say a prayer in front of the thing, what are they called? Oh, what are they called? There's a word for it. There's a word for it. I can't find the word. So like the image of the Virgin Mary or Jesus, and then they will kiss it, and then they will talk to it. And that, to me, that's sort of like idolizing like an image, right? And again, these are all my opinions, the way I was raised and my beliefs as well. Icon. Thank you. The icons. There you go. Thank you, Norma. So I don't believe that the Annabelle doll is haunted. I do believe that the Annabelle doll carries a lot of energy, and also the fact that so many people throughout the years really believe that that doll was haunted. They're projecting, not only they're projecting their own fear or this belief, but not only that, but also when you direct that energy onto something, whether it is an object, whether it is a house, whether it even in a person, actually you can affect it. You can actually affect that energy, even though an object is not it's not a living, breathing thing, right? It's just an object. There's no life to it. But the energy, like children, like a child, when they have a plushie that they have as an emotional support plushie, and as they grow, as they grow older and as they grow in general, they hang on to this plushie even when they you know they go into adulthood. They will still have that plushie around because they have an emotional attachment to it. But because throughout the years they've been so attached to it, and they've used it like an emotional support plushie or toy or object, that plushie, for instance, absorbs all that energy, and that energy is there. So if I went up to it and I held it or I touched it, then I would definitely pick up the energy of the previous owner, of the child. All right. The child is now an adult, but I would still pick up that energy of the adult when the adult was a child, if that makes sense. And I can even pick up things like, what was this person's childhood like? Why was this person using this as a why was it sort of like you know um what's called like a safety blanket or a safety plushie? This is how it works. So, in my opinion, the paranormal investigator that unfortunately and coincidentally died while he was touring with the Annabelle doll, it's just a horrible, terrible coincidence. The doll didn't do anything to him. How can an object harm a human being? Ghosts and spirit cannot harm us. They can harm us psychically or spiritually or energetically, draining us from draining our energy or making us feel like we can't think straight. Yes, of course. But that is more of an attack. That is more of a energetic attack coming towards you. But objects cannot do that unless you touch it, you hold it, you have not so good intentions with it. So Matt Rife is going to be safe. Okay. Nothing is going to happen to him. He's probably going to make a lot more money. Okay. But it doesn't mean that he's going to be haunted. He's going to be cursed. All of that. I hope that that's clear for everyone. I want to see what everyone's saying. I hope I didn't miss anything. Give me a second because I saw a couple of your questions. Okay, Norma's saying his name. Thank you, because I want to call him by name. It's disrespectful not to. Dan Rivera was the handler and the person who recently died. Yes. Okay. Let's talk about the houses, haunted houses. Okay. Houses can be haunted in what sense? The house itself, the walls, the bricks, the doors, the windows are not haunted, but a spirit or an entity or residual energy could be stuck within that house. That's what makes it haunted, not the house itself. Look at Amityville Horror. And if you haven't watched the reading and the video that we did with Psychic Jamie, I highly recommend that you do. Apparently, and someone reached out to me and said that they know the new owners now who live in Amityville, in the Amityville Horror House. It's been quiet. There's no activity. There's nothing happening. It doesn't mean that the story was fake. That's why I'm asking you to go watch that video and that reading, because you will understand a lot more about what happened in that house and the whole story and how it developed the way that it did. But and now it's quiet. Why? It has to do with the energy. The new owners obviously brought in a different kind of, obviously maybe they did blessings as well. They did cleansings. The Warrens did a lot of work on the house as well. But it's also the energy of the people who live in homes. I've lived every single home except this one I'm living in right now, have always been friggin' haunted. And I've always thought, why is it to me? Why is it happening? Is it because I'm a medium? Is it because you don't need to be a medium to actually see or feel that the energy in your house is off, or maybe there is residual energy, or there is a soul that's stuck in there. Okay. So with the homes, it's not the house itself. Okay. It's not the house, it's the foundations, the house itself. It's what's inside. And also the energy that previous owners have left behind. So if there's been a lot of trauma in the house, that is residual energy that sticks around for a very, very long time. And people can misinterpret that as a haunting. Oh my God, there's a poltergeist, there's a haunting. I do believe in poltergeist because I do believe that that is a very, very powerful energy that feeds off of our energy, us as human beings. But what people don't realize, like here on earth, where we are right now as human beings, we are the most powerful energetic beings. We have the power. Okay. We have the power and the control. We do. That's why when we get psychically attacked, and I've been psychically attacked several times in my life, you can do something about it. You can, it doesn't mean that you can't get rid of it. You can't cleanse yourself and get rid of that energy. Yes, you can, because we're a lot more powerful. A lot more powerful. Why? Because this is where we are right now. We are souls, we are energy, but we are energy. Our soul is in our body. This is our vessel. When we cross over, it's a very different story. We're very, very powerful, even more powerful, but in a different sense. We're not on earth, so things work differently in the spirit world. So that's how hauntings or haunted, what haunted house, what a haunted house means. Let's see. I watch a haunted drama called A Haunting, where people experience paranormal investigation of their houses. Is that real or fake? Of course, they are real and there are fake. They're real and there are fake. Shows and paranormal shows and hauntings. It's what I'm saying. So in a house, if there's been trauma, if something traumatic happened, that energy is going to linger for a very, very long time. So the new owners, whoever moves into the house, they're going to feel that. They are going to feel that. But again, it goes back to what I said in the beginning. It has to do with your own belief system as well. If you're someone who's overly religious and you were born very Christian, very Catholic, okay? For example, just giving you an example, then you're going to feel that energy, and instantly you're going to feel, because it's going to make you feel uncomfortable, because you're picking up the energy, you're feeling that something's a bit off. You may start believing that you're seeing things. And we always see things, but we're not paying attention. When I mean things, I mean shadows, orbs, just things moving really swiftly that you see them from the corner of your eye. That could happen while you're driving. That could happen anywhere, not just your home. What you're seeing is, yes, what you're seeing is energy. It could be a soul. It could be an energy, what you're seeing. So for instance, if you're overly religious and you're living in a home where you're feeling a certain way, or you're kind of picking things up like shadows and these orbs and things with the corner of your eye, and you feel very uneasy, of course, again, it goes back to your religious beliefs. You're going to say, oh, this is haunted. We have demons in the house. Or, this house is haunted. And when you start believing that, you start projecting and manifesting that. Because we're powerful beings. Our brains are extremely powerful. So we will start imaging and manifesting things around us because we're scared or because of our belief system. But that doesn't mean that your house is haunted or they're after you. They want to harm you. They want you out. So that's why I'm saying, and yes, in paranormal investigate, they do sensationalize, they do exaggerate, they do amplify things because they want people to watch, and they want advertisers to buy more advertising space, and they want to make more money at the end of the day. Usually it's very subtle. Hauntings, we'll use the word hauntings, okay, in the sense of having very strong energy or potent energy in your home or in an object, right? We just see it bigger. It's just more amplified, but it doesn't mean that's what happens. That's the reality of things. I was raised Greek Orthodox. First thing is sign of the cross, then kissing blessed icon of saints. Yes, exactly. They do the sign of the cross, they kiss, and then they say a little prayer. A lot of like the older Greek people will sit there, they will talk to Jesus, they will talk to Mary, they're doing this in front of an icon. So isn't that idolizing an icon or an object in a sense? I follow a tarot reader who said the doll amplifies energy you already have. So say you got heart issues, they're going to get worse. How's the doll going to do that? The doll is not it's not a living, breathing being thing that is able to think and react and act and do. How can it amplify? So if you have heart problems, how can it create a heart attack? How? The only way it can give you a heart attack is if it goes boo in the middle of the night while you're asleep and you're like, oh my, and then your heart stops because you got the fright of your life. I see what you're saying, Gigi, but I also don't see how that can happen. How can it amplify the energy? It can amplify your fears, and your fears bring in that fear energy and that low vibrational energy in. Okay. So you may start acting a certain way, or you may start out of fear thinking like, oh, I have heart palpitations, I'm having a heart attack, or I'm not feeling well, I'm being attacked. If you tear down a really old house and build a new house, can a spirit still stick around on the land? Yes, a spirit will. Yes, it doesn't follow the house. Again, the house is just bricks, doors, it's the wood, whatever, however it's built. It's not what usually with spirits, it's the location, and it's not necessarily the house. Sometimes it can be the house. For instance, if they have if they lived all their life in that house, died in that house, a lot of times they have a hard time crossing over, or they refuse to cross over, so they will just stick around the house. But that is so easy. You bring in a medium, within half an hour, 1 hour, the medium is able to help that spirit cross over. But it's a lot of times it's the land's location. How many times have you seen on paranormal shows or just generally ghost shows and stuff where they're talking about the land, whether it's like Native American land or in places where there are or were burial sites? Yes, the energy there is going to be super, super potent. And yes, you will experience things. You will experience paranormal things. If I feel I'm ever being attacked by something negative, I immediately call in Archangel Michael. That is another way of doing it. You can call in Archangel Michael, or imagine that you have a blue light, a blue bright light that comes in from the skies, goes through your crown, down to your solar, down to your feet, okay? And you're being wrapped in that blue light. That is protection. But if you feel that you're attacked, do not be afraid, okay? You have the power. You can get rid of it. I've been attacked many times, not by demons, because I've said before, I've never experienced or seen a demon, so don't believe this. I believe this is more, again, religious belief. It is more fear-based from religion, and I don't believe in all that. The same way as heaven and hell, I believed it all my life. Well, not all my life. Well, until I turned about 20 something, when I started working more on developing my psychic and mediumship abilities. And that's when I realized there is no heaven and hell. We all go to the same place. It's just that bad people, criminals, bad people, all that, they just go they end up in the same place as we all do, but they just take a little detour because they have a lot of work to do. Or sometimes they go into the spirit world, but they're stuck on the lower levels of the spirit world. But that's not hell. That's not hell. Not hell in the way that we've been taught hell is. So yes, you can ask for protection from Archangel Michael, but the key here is not to be afraid. Be afraid of what? Again, I've been attacked by spirits. I've been attacked by very low vibrational spirits in the past. I've been haunted, if you will, or taunted. I want to say more. It was more of a taunting from a ghost in a previous house that I had, that I lived in Austria. And I can tell you, it can be scary when it first happens to you. But my reaction now is like, you're giving me a headache. Go away. I demand for them, because I've got free will. They don't, right? I demand for them to leave and leave me alone. If you do this 1, 2, 3 times, and then you just protect yourself, with this invisible blue light, this blue bubble, they're not going to harm you. They're not going to do anything to you. The worst thing that can happen to you is 3 things. A, you feel exhausted. It's just like a psychic attack. You feel exhausted. You feel like you're running out of steam and battery and energy, all of that. Headaches, feeling, like your mind's very foggy, and having super vivid nightmares. Okay. These are pretty much the same. They cannot throw you off a window. How they're going to do that? That's Hollywood, but that's not reality. That's Hollywood, but that's not reality. Okay. They cannot throw you off a window. They cannot stab you. They cannot choke you while you're sleeping. No, they can't. These are the 3 things that they can do to you. And they're things that you can do to protect yourself. My friend Maite Garcia, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Oh, Princess ex-wife asked me to visit a home she was going to buy a month earlier, was a murder-suicide. The only energy I felt was pain from mom who was in front of kids. Oh, that's awful. Yes, you make someone who's sensitive, someone who's an empath, someone who's a psychic medium will feel like a prime example is what Norma's sharing with us. Prime example, you will enter a home or a space, anything, it could be an office, even office space or a studio, whatever. And you will instantly feel a certain way. You might feel sad. You might feel like you can't breathe. You might feel jittery, like, oh, I don't feel comfortable. It's because you're picking up the energy, but it doesn't mean that necessarily that the house is haunted. You're just picking up on the energy, because a house absorbs, which is why I've always said, and I won't stop saying it, cleanse your house, smudge your house, cleanse it, do a good cleanse at least once every 2 weeks, or once a week if you can, if you have the time. Remove your shoes before you enter your house. Don't bring in that energy. No. And also, you want to ground yourself. You want to connect to your home. I respect every single house I've lived in. And in what respect? And the respect that when I'm in the house, I don't bring in external energy. I don't come in with my dirty shoes. And I always walk barefoot around the house, even at winter, because I like to ground and connect to the house's energy. And I'm also helping clear out the energy as well. I'm putting in my own energy in my own home. By the way, I remove my shoes when I go to other people's homes. And people think it's weird, but when I explain to them why I do that, they then start not wearing shoes in their house. So I highly recommend that. But yes, you feel the energy, but it doesn't mean that the house is haunted. How do we remove this type of traumatic, heavy energy from your space? Is it through sage or some other form of cleansing? Depends. Sage is not always enough. Okay. That's why it's good to do this like once a week or once a 2 week, because once every 2 weeks, because you don't allow for that energy to stagnate in your house. So you keep getting rid of it, right? And always open your windows when you sage, always, because you need to allow for that energy to exit. They need an exit point. The energy, not they, the energy needs an exit point. So how do you how do you get rid of it? There are prayers. There are, I'm thinking, okay, I'll need to post them on Instagram, or no, I'll post them on the community tab later on, or latest by tomorrow, because usually by the time we're done, I'm super tired and then I forget to do things. So I'm going to post a blessing and a prayer that you can say while you're cleansing your house. So you take a smudge stick, you light up black candles, not white candles, black candles when you want to get rid of heavy energy, okay? Because the black candles absorb negative and bad energy. You open all your windows, you start smudging, and you start saying these. There's a prayer that you say, and then you bless your house. I will post everything in the community tab for you guys. It's always good, though, if you feel it's too much, to bring in someone who knows what they're doing, a professional, because it can be a little bit too much for someone if they're not sure what they're doing, or their intention is not as strong and as focused, the intention of getting rid of whatever energies in your home. Because people love to they want to create stories and sensationalize, and it sells, and people are messing with this doll because it sells. People are interested. They're like, oh my god, the most haunted doll in the world, what is it going to do next? And especially after what happened to Dan, who unfortunately died of a heart attack, now people are even more interested. They're like, oh my god, it is proof that the doll is haunted, etc., etc. That's why they're messing with this doll. Ozzy Osbourne, I'm always waiting. You must be new here, because I always wait. Listen, the soul needs time. When it transitions over to the spirit world, or when the soul crosses over, the soul needs time, and we have to respect that. So we need to wait a few months before we're able to connect. Even if I tried, I wouldn't be able to, because for a while, this applied not just for celebrities who pass on, everyone and anyone, when they cross over, there is a period where they're isolated in the spirit world, because it is, again, they're back home and they have to readjust being back into the spirit world. They're there with the elders and their guides, with other deceased loved ones or ancestors surrounded a lot. And especially if it was a traumatic death, or if it was an unaliving, self-deletion, it takes a long time to be able to connect to them. So with Ozzy Osbourne, I will do a reading, but I will do it when I come back from my holidays, from a vacation, because I want to give him some time to adjust to the spirit world, and then we connect, because sometimes it's not easy to connect to them. Has Matt Rife joined the Illuminati and think he can control this negative energy? No, I don't know. I think Matt Rife just wants to make money. He wants to be relevant. And surprise, surprise, this happened after what happened 2 months ago to this poor guy who was touring with Annabelle. So, and now people are even more fascinated by the Annabelle doll, and he knows he can make money from it. Him or his, I believe he bought the museum and the Annabelle doll with his partner. So it's business to them, you guys. It's business. It's business. What makes a spirit decide to not cross over? Trauma. It could be a traumatic death where they're very unsure. So it could be like a sudden, let's say a sudden car accident. A lot of times they're very dazed and confused, the spirit. And even though guides, ancestors, deceased loved ones always come in and help them and guide them through the light, they refuse. They don't want to let go of loved ones, or anyone behind. I told you about my stepfather. My stepfather stuck around for several days next to my mom, around my mom. He passed on the 22nd, on the day Ozzy Osbourne passed. And I literally had to ask him to just let go of my mom and just cross over, because I was worried. The longer it takes for them to cross over and follow the light, the more chances are they might get a little bit stuck for a while here, and that's not good for the soul, because it drains them. It absolutely drains them. So I had to ask him. I asked him at first, he didn't, and then I demanded. You have to be very assertive with spirit when you work with spirit. And as a medium, I am very assertive, because sometimes they don't have free will, but sometimes they will not do what is asked of them. Maybe because they haven't drawn in the energy that they need in order for them to do to cross over. But if you demand, if you instruct them, sometimes you have to show them the way. You really have to start describing what is going to happen, what they're going to be feeling, for that spirit to feel comfortable to walk in through the light and into the spirit world. So it's usually trauma or attachment to people, or even a home. Okay. And they refuse. So I had to help a spirit. And when I was living in Austria, in Vienna, he was such a grumpy man, a grumpy spirit, and he didn't like me because I was pregnant, and I was pregnant to my first baby, to my daughter, and I was, painting the walls and decorating the nursery and stuff, and he started acting up, and he was attacking me in my dreams. He was screaming in my ear, but I don't want to scare anyone. I'm a medium, so for me, it's so easy for them to show up literally and start doing things to me, because I'm a medium. I'm open, so I see them. This is my job. And he was just such a pest. He wouldn't leave. And then I gave birth to my daughter, and then it became even worse, to the point where we did have like very mild, if you will, poltergeist activity in her room, in her nursery. So she was sleeping. I was co-sleeping with my daughter, because she did not like her room. She didn't want to sleep, even through the video, the baby cam, the orbs, the shadows. I could see him. He was taunting her, and I was so pissed off with him. And I picked a fight with a ghost. Not a good idea. And then it got worse. And I tried getting rid of him, but he was refusing. So I had to I found a medium in Vienna from the Paranormal Society of Vienna. And she came in, and the two of us, it needed two of us to get rid of him. He was attached to not the house, the area, but usually what happens is with babies, because babies are pure souls, they've just entered this world, so they're so connected to the spirit world. They target babies and kids. They do, because they know that the babies can see them. My daughter can see her, because I should have recorded them, but I saw, like, she would be, especially when she was like 8-9 months, where she was able to stand, on her bed. And sometimes I would leave her for a little nap, but at night she would be with me, because I didn't feel comfortable until I got rid of him. She would just stand there, and she would talk to this ghost. And I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. Goddess Erica's in the house. Hey, Erica. We haven't seen you in live for a long time. Thank you for saying this. Yeah, we're strong beings. We should not fear the spirit world. Absolutely. This is fear mongering. They're making money from this, you guys. The more scared you guys are, or we all are, the more money they can make. Can you connect to alien? Funny you asked that because I've always said I wish I could, but then I spoke to two psychics and they both said, "Oh, yes, you can because you're a hybrid." And I'm like, I always knew I was a hybrid. I always felt like I belonged somewhere else. And I always felt I was a hybrid. And they said, "Yes, you can." But I haven't tried it. I should, but I haven't connected to aliens. I've connected to other entities, but not extraterrestrials. So I should work on that 100%. Asian dark magic. I don't know about Asian dark magic, but I will just talk about generally dark magic. Yeah, 100% they can put a curse on you. Dark magic, what is it? There's white magic and dark magic. White magic is, for instance, if you want to put if you want to attract abundance, all right, if you want to attract abundance, because this is going to help you, and this is this energy or this magic is coming in, is drawn to you. That's white magic. You're not harming anyone. The intentions are good, the intentions are pure. But dark magic is when you use magic and energies and spirit to harm other people, to do binding rituals, to mess up with people, to bankrupt people. That's dark magic. So yes, and dark magic can absolutely 100% can put curses on people, anyone who dabbles in them. Yes, blue light is the one. Blue light is the light, Archangel Michael, that is the protective energy. It's the shield. It's the shield, the color that shields you and protects you. Started putting a lot of energy around me. It's crazy, and I sometimes think I'm not alone. I always try to focus on my spirit. You're just very, very connected to your tarot cards. And of course, when you do a reading, when you start a reading, whether it's tarot, whether it's mediumship, whether you're just using a pendulum, it doesn't matter. You're opening up yourself and your space to energies, spirit, anything that comes through, that is why it's very important to always, before you start reading or before you start throwing cards down, you do a little protection ritual. You'll find everything on Instagram. I have videos on these, on this. If you go on my Instagram, you'll find a ton of resources and advice and how you can do rituals, protection rituals. But this is imperative. I do them even before I come on and do YouTube, because I do readings when I'm on YouTube. And even if I don't do readings when I'm on YouTube, for instance, now I'm not doing a reading, we're just answering your questions and we're talking about this, still do a protection ritual. It's important. Let's see. Okay. Thank you, Norma. Norma is reminding everybody to show your support and hit the like button. You guys, we are growing, and that's amazing. The fan village is growing. What would draw someone to do dark magic on someone? It's crazy to me that someone would do that. Apparently, my mother-in-law found out her mother-in-law was doing this to her. You cannot believe how many people do this. You cannot believe how many people do this. Why do people do it? I don't know why people do it. I know why celebrities do it, and we've talked about this a zillion times, but like the layman person, like an ordinary person, why they do it, I believe it's because they have bad intentions. They just want to harm people, and they want to do it via magic because they can't find any other way to harm people. A lot. It's often. Do you know? Because I live in Greece. Do you know how many people ask me? Do you know how to I think I'm cursed. Do you know how to help me, or someone's done magic on me? Here in Greece is a big thing, It's a big thing. People go to witches, people do magic on their exes, ex-husbands, or boyfriends and girls. It's mother-in-laws, and it's crazy. And I'm like, don't take this lightly, because especially dark magic, if you don't know what you're doing, it's gonna come back to you. Seriously, if you don't know what you're doing and you just go on ChatGPT or Google and you're like, what's a spell to do this, to harm this person? Or how can I don't know, make someone fall in love with me? I want my ex to fall in love with me and be absolutely crazy about me. And I'm going to do magic. Girl, if you don't know what you're doing, you can mess this up and it can come back to you tenfold and it can harm you, which is why don't dabble in these things. Just don't. If you want to do white magic, or if this is to help you in some way, for instance, as I mentioned before, abundance, or you want to do some magic to boost your business. I'm just giving you an example. Go to a witch that you trust. Go to someone you trust. I have a whole video on spells and rituals because I did bring pagan witch, white witch. She's incredible. She's amazing. You'll find it on my channel. Always when you go onto my channel, use the search bar, use a keyword of whatever you're looking for, and it will bring up the videos. So if you're interested in that, go watch that video. No, they don't. They think it's a game. They think, oh, you know what? I'm going to take a lock of hair. I'm going to take a candle. I don't know, I'm going to find some blood, or, prick my finger and get some blood. And I'm going to do something because I saw it on Google or I saw it on TikTok or whatever. Even as a joke, even if you're doing half the stuff right, half of the stuff right, you're messing with the energies now. You're so vulnerable and susceptible to dark energy. Don't bring that in. Don't, don't. I'm being mama bear here. I want to protect you. Please do not dabble with any type of magic, witchcraft, anything. Again, go watch that video. It will make a lot more sense to you. Why would you do what? Why would you do the magic? Or what do you mean? Exactly. What you put out will revolve back to you, which is why all I ask that those who do harm get what they put out. It's on them. It's always, if you feel that maybe your energy is off, maybe someone's done some kind of magic on you, you can return to sender. Return that energy to sender. You say it out loud. You light up a white candle. You do this on a new moon. Okay, I'm not a witch, but I know a little bit. I don't dabble, by the way, but out of curiosity, because this is part of what I do as well, I need to be informed about things like that. Why don't you light a white candle on a new moon? Okay. And you set the intention and you write down on a piece of paper, return to sender. The energy, return to sender. And then you write your name on a piece of paper. You put it in the middle of you create a ring with salt, and then you put that piece of paper with your name on it in the middle of the ring. Okay. Don't do it now. Not even as a joke. Only if you feel that someone may have been or is trying to harm you. Let's see. What the hell, Norma? Yeah, I know. You're such a bright light, Norma. That's the thing. People who just have a very strong, bright light and who are psychic or empathic or generally sensitive, we are susceptible to attacks, psychic attacks, witchcraft, things like that, because they want us down. They don't want us to they feed off our power. This is what I'm trying to say. They don't want us to get even more powerful and even more ascended and even more bright, our light to be even more bright. They want to keep us down. That's why it's important to do protection rituals always. Because people either don't take it seriously. I blame Hollywood for this. I'm sorry. I blame the film industry, the entertainment industry, the media for this, because they make it appear like it's a game. You always see these kids, oh, we found a Ouija board, let's do this. And when I was at boarding school in England, there were girls, okay? I don't know where they got their hands on a Ouija board, and they told me, they're like, do you want to join? We're doing a circle. We're going to do a Ouija board. And I said, no way am I joining. And I told those girls, I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it, because you're opening up a portal. You're inviting in. You don't know what you're inviting in. It's very different. Like with readings, I know who I'm inviting in. I'm setting that intention. You come to me for a reading. Your name is Mary. I'm giving an example. So I have Mary here. Who do you want to connect to today, Mary? Mary will tell me, I am hoping to connect to my dad, my brother, whatever. So there you go. Boom. Connection. I'm putting out that invitation to the dad and the brother of Mary to come forward. So I know I'm like a bouncer, I'm like a bouncer. You're like, okay, you can come in. With a Ouija board, there's no bouncers. Anyone can come in through that door, okay? Through that portal. And I blame Hollywood, because they make it seem like it's a game, it's a toy. And then in toy stores, you can actually find Ouija boards, like board games. Crazy to me. Don't do that. Kids play with these things. Those girls in my boarding school, they actually did that. The screams, I could hear them. I was on a different wing on the boarding house we were living, different wing. I could hear those girls crying and screaming. They were freaked out because they had some kind of experience. Apparently, one of the girls felt like a tap on her shoulder because it was dark, whatever. So I don't know if that was a ghost or a spirit or someone was playing with them. No idea. But let me tell you, that Ouija board, they got rid of it the next day. So I don't get it. Yeah, it's because they make it seem harmless. It's like a toy. It's like a toy, but no one tells you that they don't. It's like in the movies, when you see a tarot reader in the movies, always the tarot reader looks, has gray hair, looks like a witch, is a bit scary, has a deep voice. And always, whenever she pulls the cards, there's always the death card, the devil, the tower, all of the scary cards. And that's why people now, they're like, whenever they see the death card, I'm trying to see if I can find it. But anyways, when they see the death card, they're like, oh, and I'm like, no, it's not a bad card. It's not a bad card. The death card, it's not a bad card. You always have to see, you always have to see what other cards are surrounding the death card. What was the question? What are you feeling? What psychic imprints you're getting. The death card is not bad. Let's see. How can you tell if someone hasn't crossed over? Well, as a medium, I can tell because I feel their energy. Like I feel their energy, just like I would feel a living person's energy, and I will see them. I might also even see them not with my mind's eye, but with my actual eyes, like a hologram. But for someone who's not a medium or psychic, how do you know? You can't be for sure. You might feel them around you a lot, but that happens when you're grieving. I don't know how to answer that because I was born a medium, so I've always felt that. So I don't know exactly if someone who doesn't have these abilities, if they're able to tell if someone hasn't crossed over. Ooh, It's not a freaking game, 100%. My friend got a Ouija board and asked me to play. This thing kept coming up. Ooh, I know who you're talking about. She asked if it was nice. I said, no, nope, 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 nope. And don't even say that out loud. You know, they did? Oh, oh, what interesting. They built a cemetery on a Chumash, I think I'm saying it right, native burial ground. Lots of strange event happened on set. Interesting. Interesting. I've read that the on set, the poltergeist said there was a lot of activity and a lot of things happening as well. But how interesting is that though? That your house was at the opening scene and that you were there. Oh wow. Let's see. Uh Joyce, yeah. Yeah. It's a demon, I believe, comes from South America, and I believe they're like, if you see images of them, they're little creatures that look like um they look like wombats, they're like the little bit, but they're considered demons, and you're not supposed to say their name out loud. Yeah. I don't know. Do you have any other questions, you guys? In the meantime, don't forget also to follow me on social media. And if you want to book a reading with me, you do that via my website. Everything is linked down below. There it is. My website. You can book now for your year ahead readings or your past life readings. Those are extremely fascinating and eye-opening for people. My availability is mid-October onwards. December is filling up because people want to have their year ahead readings in December, just before the year changes, we enter the new year. So I'm just letting you know, you guys, book yourselves your readings now, because I know I'm fully aware that people, when they want to book a reading with me, they get disheartened because they have to wait 2 or 3 months. And that's why I'm telling you that now you don't have to wait 3 months. I still have available dates in October if you want a reading. Like shadow people. I mean, the stories. I have so many stories I want to share with you, like my own personal stories when it comes to hauntings and experiences that I've had, even readings that I've had that they were very disturbing. But I'm waiting. I'm going to do that around Halloween because I think that will be great to do it around that time. The veil is also super thin, but I have so much to share with you. So many experiences, so many things that I've experienced personally and via clients, via friends that I helped out. Had to go to homes to I well, there's a story. I had a friend. She believed her home was haunted, so she said, "You've got to come. You've got to tell me. It's driving me insane. Things, lights were flickering, objects were being misplaced. She could hear breathing in the middle of the night in her room. There were all sorts of weird stuff and activities happening, and she invited me over to her house, and she's like, you can you check, is it haunted, and can you get rid of whatever is here? And there was a lot of energy, and let me tell you what we found in her attic. Okay, she was given from her stepmom. Her stepmom moved to a different country, and her stepmom left some boxes behind, and she asked my friend to store them at her place in case she needed. At some point, she would come and get them. Sorry, I'm fiddling with my stupid hair. So she was storing that her stepmom stuff in the attic, and in one of those boxes we found it's not a fur coat per se, but it's one of those fur coats. It's not like a whole coat, but it's one of these like that you put around your shoulders. This is a very like something very common or very fashionable in the 20s. And this belonged to the stepmom's mom. And who the stepmom's mom was, when she was alive, apparently she was not well. She was very unstable. She was drinking a lot and she lost her mind because obviously maybe she had, undiagnosed mental health issues. And just overall, it was a very toxic environment there. But let me just tell you, the haunting that my friend was experiencing was not all coming from the fur, but there was so much energy. It wasn't just, it was just all the stuff that were there. There were like all these like antiques and stuff from the stepmom's mom. And it was just the idea, I believe, because it all stopped and calmed down after we opened those boxes and found this coat. And I believe it had to do with this fur coat, for whatever, not coat, but fur thingy, a real fur. And I believe it was because we opened it and we took everything out. And I believe it's almost like we released energy. We released that energy that was in those boxes because it stopped pretty much afterwards. I mean, it took a little bit, like she could still feel and hear things, but it wasn't as bad. And then it completely stopped. First of all, thank you. Thank you. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah. That's what it's called. Yes. Yeah. Have I done one? I have done one. It wasn't like a deep, deep dive, but I have done one. You'll find it on my channel. The Haunting of Natalie. So many hauntings. I used to be terrified of like spirit and ghosts and all this energy. Let me tell you, now I'm like, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. And they don't. And see, that's why I'm saying don't be afraid, because that's what they feed off. Low vibrational beings and entities, and generally low energy feeds off fear and anger. So don't be afraid. I'm like, that's fine. I don't care, if there is a ghost or around, or, someone that popped in during a reading and didn't want to leave. That happens quite often. I'm like, okay, I'll give them a day. And I give them a day and then I get rid of them because I'm nice like that. Give them a day. I don't like antique shops and I don't like antiques for the reason because I don't like touching things that carry so much energy. Again, they're not haunted, but they do carry energy and I feel it. Don't like it. Haven't kept anything from my grandfather or my grandmother, unfortunately, because I just don't like antiques. And I've been given things from people who, family members and stuff that, passed on, and I were giving things. I got rid of them. I donated them. Don't want them around me because I feel everything, sense everything. No, thank you. That doesn't mean she hasn't crossed over. No, it doesn't mean your mom, you feel her a few times. Your mom visits. She pops in. She says hi. She lets you know she's fine. She's at peace. She's in a good place. And she pops out. It doesn't mean that she hasn't crossed over. No, it's not common for them not to cross over. Sometimes it takes longer for them to cross over, but it's rare that they'll get stuck here. Usually, as soon as they see the light and they feel this sense of bliss and absolute unconditional love and peace and warmth, they want to go. They're like, I'm out of earth. I don't want to be on earth anymore. Forget about my family, in the sense, not forget about my family, but I want to be over there. So that's why it's very, very rare. it has something traumatic must have happened for them to refuse to cross over. It's because they didn't have they get the chance to say goodbye, or it takes a while for them to realize that they're no longer in their physical body. Did you ever watch the one about the amateur demonologist that brought her son to cemetery? No, I haven't. She let her son use dowsing rods. He ended up having an exorcism. What an irresponsible, and I'm not, I want to use a much worse word, but I'm not. What an irresponsible parent. How old was that child? How irresponsible. Children should not be around. If you're going to cleanse your home, if you're going to do any type of ritual to get rid of spirits from your home, or if you're going to do paranormal investigation, kids should not be anywhere near you if you're going to do anything like that. Because kids are pure and they're so open. They absorb everything. I cannot believe this person did this. Aggravates me. Yes, exactly. I cannot purchase clothes from thrift shop for the same reason. Everyone's like, yeah, but they wash them, they dry cleaning. It's not about the cleanliness. It's not about me being weird. It's about the energy. The energy. I don't wear pre-owned clothes as well, unless it's, my mom's. Yeah. 'Cause my mom will just, hand me stuff, like especially handbags and stuff like that. That's fine. It's my mom, but never, never, never. Yeah, we have another question. Why doesn't my dad come around me, but he visits my mom and sister quite frequently? I get that question a lot. I've had this experience myself with my grandfather who died 5 years ago, and he went to my brother, he went to my father, he went to my uncles. Me, the medium of the family, nada, nothing, absolutely nothing. It's because they go to whoever they feel needs to feel them around the most. Doesn't mean that they don't love you. It doesn't mean that they're not around you. They are around you, you just might not be feeling it, or you might not be paying attention, because they're not around us necessarily when you're nice and relaxed at home chilling and saying, okay, grandpa, dad, can you come in, can you give me a sign? It could be while you're driving. A lot of times, and I tell you this from experience, when I drive and I'm alone, do you know what happens in my car? It's a party of spirit, like whether it's deceased loved ones, relatives, or other people's deceased loved ones. It's crazy town. I'm never alone in my car. And that's why I always listen to podcasts or listen to music to distract me from the chatter that I'm getting from the back seat. So it doesn't mean that your dad's not around or that your dad doesn't want to show up for you. But, and especially if it was a more recent passing, their energy is not as strong. They're still trying to figure things, the popping in and out from the spirit world. They need to learn, they need to learn how to amass the energy, how to use this energy, how to show up, how to manipulate things around you for you to feel their presence. And if they are not strong enough, or their energy is not strong enough, unfortunately for you and for me, because my granddad did the same thing, they will go to whoever they feel needs to feel them, sense them the most, because they can't go to everyone at the same time. But you can actually say out loud to your dad, can you show up for me? Send me a sign. And to make it easier for them, be specific. Just tell them what specific sign you want them to send to you. send me coins, or dad, send me a heart, or whatever it is, or something that's you're very connected to. And they'll find a way. It's not going to happen the next minute. It might take a few days, but it's going to happen. Oh, wait, so many questions. Don't want to mute. Why doesn't oh no, we did this one. Did you ever watch a Disney movie called Susie Q? She died young and had unresolved stuff, so she stuck around. I haven't. I know I love the song Susie Q. No, but I haven't watched the Disney movie. She died young and had unresolved stuff, so she stuck around until it was resolved. Yes, but that's not how it works with spirit. They won't hang around because they haven't completed their mission or something like that. They usually hang around. Again, it could be a parent, a mom who passes and leaves her child behind, a young child, and she has a hard time crossing over because of that child. And so she will stick around for a while. But no, it doesn't work that way, where they stick around just to finish, complete some kind of mission or life purpose or anything like that, because their energy is it's so weak once they pass, especially if they haven't crossed over. Because what happens is they don't have their physical body, but their spirit still lingers around, and it's like a baby giraffe. I mean, for a lack of a better way of explaining, a baby giraffe, as soon as it's born, it has a hard time like coordinating its legs, its neck. It has a long neck. The mama has to help. It needs time to figure out how to walk. It's been in its mummy's belly for all this time, and now all these long legs and long neck. It needs some time to figure out how to walk. It's the same thing. Like, once you get rid of your body, you don't know how to you don't know what to do with yourself, so your energy is all over. It's very strong, but it's all over. You're not accomplishing anything. Even if you try to connect to your loved ones, you're not going to be able to, because your energy is so all over the place. So that's why it's rare that they get stuck here, because they might be stuck here for a week, maximum 2 weeks. I've seen 2 weeks. I've seen the soul refusing to cross over and stick around for 2 weeks. But then they know that they have to cross over, because it's calling for them, and they're losing that energy. They're losing that momentum. So eventually they get, let's say, sucked in from the light, and then they'll be able to come in and out. Let me see. In my home, there's a lot of stuff that belonged to deceased family members. It's fine. Not everyone is sensitive. Like Norma and I'm like super sensitive. Like, when I go to my father-in-law's house, for instance, because he has all these antique furniture from his parents, like, I cannot even sit on the couch because I feel his parents' energies. I feel everything. I can block it. Luckily, I've been doing this for so long that I know how to block it, but I'm not comfortable. Let's just say I'm not comfortable. So everyone's different with that. All right. I think this was a good talk, a good chat. So to recap, Matt Rife is safe. He'll be okay. He's going to make quite a bit of money because of the Annabelle doll. He may even sensationalize things. I mean, don't be surprised if stories come out, this happened, or someone visited the Warren Museum, or the Annabelle doll, and this happened. So we're going to see all these stories coming out. And obviously Matt Rife, he has a following. He has people who will be now even more interested and curious about the Annabelle doll. So he's going to garner a lot of attention. People are going to make a lot of videos. And of course, a lot of people are going to, exaggerate things and make up stories and all that. Yeah. Brenna, what's your question? Can you repost? So that's how I see it. Orchid, how are you, my darling? Back when I used to work at a police department, I always felt something was in a specific area. I could never go there alone because I didn't feel safe. That happens, yeah. Yeah. It can happen that, and it's not necessarily, how, like, if you go to someone's home or at an office or a building and you feel uncomfortable with, I don't know, there might be like a corner in a room, or it could be a door, and you're looking at that door and you're like, I'm not comfortable. I don't want to look to see what's behind that door, or I never want to walk in front of that corner. That means that there's a lot of stagnant energy there. It's not necessarily that it's haunted, but it could be a lot of, and by the way, energy does stick to the corners. That it's important when you sage that you sage the corners of your house too, always. So what you're feeling is probably stagnant energy that's been stuck there for a long time. Yeah. Yeah, with decks too. I am not someone, so listen, nothing wrong with donating decks that you no longer work with or use. I actually want to do, and I'm going to do this when I come back. I've been wanting to do this for a while. There are a couple, I have a tarot collection that I don't use. There are certain decks that I use every day when I do readings, and the rest of them are part of my collection. But I have some tarot cards that I've used a couple of times, but I didn't connect to them, or they didn't resonate in the way that I wanted to. So I think I'm going to do a giveaway for a couple of you. We'll do something fun when I come back. Brenna, can used tarot cards be cleansed, or should they not be purchased, since you mentioned about your aversion to used items? Okay, this is me. Okay, me, I don't like anything that is used or pre-owned or pre-loved. But I'm not a fan of getting secondhand, like, used tarot cards, but there's nothing wrong with that. Just because I don't do that or I don't like that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with that, for the reasons that I explained earlier. So first of all, you need to neutralize the deck. So let's say you have a bestie who gave you her tarot cards because she doesn't want to read cards and she doesn't want to read cards anymore, or she just wants to get rid of her deck, or someone else comes along and they give you a deck of cards. You have to neutralize the energy. So how do you do that? You smudge the card. First of all, what you should do is you should shuffle the deck very, very well. It helps if you put them on the table and just do this. You just shuffle them that way. And because you're moving that energy, and then you shuffle really, really well. Hold it in your hands and shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. You're neutralizing now the energy. Smudge again, and while you're smudging, you're setting the intention that you're neutralizing the energy of this deck. Okay. Now, after you've done all that, wrap the deck in a piece of silk, a piece of cloth that's made of silk. It has to be silk. Doesn't matter what color, doesn't matter. It has to be silk. You wrap it up in the silk cloth and you set it aside. And preferably, you put it under your pillow or next to you when you're asleep. Why? Because you're connecting to it while you're asleep. You're connecting to the deck after you've neutralized the energy. And every day you hold it in your hands before you start reading and using it, and you just shuffle. Let the cards absorb your energy. Let the cards talk to you. Connect to the energy of the cards. You don't need to read them. You don't need to look at them. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. silk cloth, wrap it up next to you. Next day, the same. Do this for a couple of days, 2 or 3 days. And then you can start reading. You can start using them. But before you start using them, this is what I would do is like I would create piles. So you've shuffled, you're ready to read or use the deck. I would create little piles. Tuck, tuck, tuck. I would just do one pile, the next pile, the next pile, and then I would put them all together, and then I would start the reading. This is how I would do it. Oh, thank you, Norma. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you all. Yes, do subscribe and do share the videos that you think are of interest to someone that you may know or to many people that you know. Then send them some of our videos and tell them to join this community, because as you all know, this is the most beautiful community on YouTube, and I'm not exaggerating. I mean it. All right, everybody. Thank you all for joining this Sunday. Things were a little bit different, but we do things differently from time to time. It was good to talk about these things. I think I just wanted to clear up a little bit around the haunted objects and the Annabelle doll and the Warrens and all of that. And obviously to take your questions and answer your questions. I will miss you all, you guys. This is going to be the last live for 2 weeks, but you will get some videos in the meantime, pre-recorded videos in the meantime. I will miss you terribly. But when we come back, we have so many things. I have so many things that I've been preparing this summer for you guys. I will announce and share with you when I'm back. I will also do the giveaway with tarot cards, and when whoever wins these decks, I will cleanse them for you, but you should still cleanse them as well. But I will do all the work for you. I will neutralize, cleanse them before I send them off. I will add a little crystal along. It's my gift to you guys for being here, for being so amazing, for being so supportive, for just showing me your love and your support. And especially, and I will never, ever forget this, especially during the time when my stepfather passed and during those 2-3 weeks, it was a little bit hard for all of us in general, but the love that you guys send my way, the support, all of it, I won't forget it. I'm very grateful, and that's why I always want to give back to you guys. I always do. I love you guys. Have a wonderful Sunday. I'll miss you, but I'll be here soon. I'm just taking a little tiny break. I need it. All right, everybody, take care. Don't forget to like this video on your way out. Lots of love. Bye, everybody.